I visited Pune in December 2022 for the Urban Sketchers annual sketch meet, and it was a delightful experience. I was very excited to go there and meet tons of fellow urban sketchers. This was my first Urban Sketchers annual meet after joining the Urban Sketchers Bangalore a couple of months back. This event in Pune was held at St. Vincent's High School over a course of 3 days, which included a lot of sketch walks, demos, and workshops. This was a very hectic trip, so I still thought that I should put together all the videos and glimpses of the entire 3-day thing so you can have a look at what urban sketchers, groups, and meets are like and what kind of an experience you may get if you ever decide to join one. There was a very nominal fee of INR 500 to be a part of this event. Workshops were priced separately, each workshop for 1,500. During the registration, we were given a goodie bag with lots of watercolor papers, some paints, brushes, and markers. Every morning, we would have a sketch walk at 7:30 a.m. and the first one I attended was called as a colonial camp, which consisted of a wonderful walk a few streets around the school, which included the Shivaji market, the houses, the structures from the colonial times. I took a lot of videos and pictures of the houses and structures, which I later thought would be very nice to sketch at another point. These videos and pictures are just added again to my reference bank from all the travels that I've done, all the different places that I've visited. In this video, I take you through my entire experience of what a sketchfest is and what to expect from one, my learnings, and also my sketches. We came across this very interesting house where the placement of the cycle instantly attracted our eyes. The streets over here are so beautiful. Just look at the way the rooftops are and all the subtle colors which are being used. Interestingly, a lot of houses over here are still maintained really well and they're taken care of. There are still people living inside these houses and it's just a delight. Can you see these Victorian faces? So a lot of homes over here built in the colonial times have the face of Queen Victoria on its frames. I did the walk with a very quick sketch at the church and I loved my first sketch walk. It was so wonderful to go with so many different urban sketchers who had come from different parts of the country and sketch with all of them. After this, we tried their famous Irani chai and bun maska and headed back to the venue to look at some art supplies. There were some really nice stalls and I burnt a huge hole in my pocket buying a lot of art supplies from here. Up some really interesting stuff which I've been using now for a while from there, so I'll put up videos of the things that I made. I attended a workshop after that which was about drawing storefronts. It was very good and a very big learning experience. It was a very hectic day already for me, so I decided to head back to the hotel after the workshop for a short nap and then come back in the evening for the evening sketch walk. I have never tried sketching at night before, so I was quite excited to experience that in the evening. There was a huge bunch gathered together to do the night sketch walk and I picked up my grey sketchbook and decided to use just black, white and yellow pencil colors to capture the lights. This walk helped me to break out of my comfort zone and try something new. I think I did end up capturing the lights quite well. What do you think about it? The next morning we woke up again at 7:30 and this was an interesting walk of about 100-year-old homes of the Boreli community. Walking inside, understanding the way of life, it was very surreal. It felt really odd, I think, being over there, understanding their way of life and just wondering how we never knew about this and how we were never curious to know about different communities, different people's way of life and their lifestyle. Once you start doing urban sketching, you will start observing things in a very different way. I would have not dared to make buildings, illustrations of urban sketches like this. I would have probably done more of things that I like, which I've been doing since 2018 in terms of going to cafes, going to different places and capturing all of the things which I see. So this was another house which was nearby and this is the oldest one here, over 100 years old, and there was so many interesting furniture inside, like this switchboard, which is from really old times, and then there are these shoes. I believe these are still used in a lot of houses. So I decided to get out and again sketch a few more things. The lady from the house was peeping out of the window, so I captured a small portion of that as well over here. I absolutely loved the colors that are used over here, such mild pastels. We had the famous RD's chilled raspberry drink along with our lunch, and it was delicious. Day 2 had just begun, but it looks like another hectic day. Post lunch I had another workshop, and this time it was on duochrome and on light and shadow. So basically you use just 2 colors to denote light and shadow, and this was a very interesting experience for me. We skipped the evening food walk as it was quite tiring for us, and we headed back to the hotel, had a little nap, and then visited some cafes nearby for sketching, and we went for a football screening at night. I managed to make some quick sketches here also. On the third and the last day of the symposium, the morning walk again at 7:30 AM was at Shaniwar Wada. This was a wonderful walk where we got to sketch the maximum. It was pretty well timed out, so at every point, after a little bit brief history about that place, we were given about 10-15 minutes of time. So it was really easy to capture a lot of interesting things. So what I did over here is I carried a water travel brush in which I put a little bit of Penny's grey inside. So I was able to do this grey wash over everything. The walk ended with the famous kande pohe and chai for breakfast, post which we rushed back to the venue for our very last workshop of this entire symposium. This was based on minimalism and line drawing. I absolutely loved this workshop. There were also a couple of online demos which I couldn't take videos of. One was on gouache and one was on basics of watercolors, which also happened during this entire course of the symposium. I ended my third day by having the Marathi lunch, which was delicious. We took long walks around the lanes of Koregaon Park, which is where I was staying, and everything here is so beautifully done. It's very aesthetic. You don't even have to look up on any app to figure out what cafes over here are nice, because any cafe you enter inside is just so beautiful, very inviting, lovely food. And overall, I think the ambience everywhere has been very inviting for us. See the mansions and the big houses which are made over here. They all have a very unique structure which is there. The gates were also very beautiful. These trucks which are there, and all the cafes have something interesting inside. In fact, I'll leave a link here of the video where I sketched inside Pimlico Cafe, and go ahead and watch it if you haven't seen it already. But this was the place where we were staying, and it was very cozy, nice, small place. With that, our wonderful trip came to an end, and we headed off to another adventure.